MD number 68.1 Unraveling the Heart. What can we expect this new year? Good or bad? From Mangkorn 01 on January 1st, 2025. Seeing the picture of giving alms to newly ordained monks at the Maha Dhammakaya Cetiya on New Year's Day 2025, I feel delighted and I rejoice in the merits of every monk. Will it continue to be good or not? We all probably want it to continue to be good. But what is the truth? We have to see what happens. Any stories and problems that Mangkorn 01 has always told his children, the turning point, turning white into black, turning merit into sin, with who was the turning point? Has it been resolved or not? Especially the point called stubbornness has been resolved. From Mangkorn 01, it was explained in many clips that this group intended to build merit to follow Luang Pu Sod, Grandma Chan and Luang Por Dhammajayo to the end of the Dhamma. Therefore, they came together to buy the land and build the Maha Dhammakaya Cetiya, until every building in the area of Wat Phra Dhammakaya and the Dhammakaya Foundation, Grandma Chan Foundation, all of which were for the purpose of following and building merit to the end of the Dhamma, with Dusit Buri as a resting place for everyone all along. Under the leadership of Luang Por Dhammajayo, or as we call him, 01, or in the name of Mangkorn Sonkai, since the middle of 2018 onwards. But the important change happened to 01 since the criminal case was filed against him in 2016 and became an arrest warrant until 2017 when he had to become a suspect evading arrest warrant after Article 44 was used to search the temple between the 16th to the 18th of February 2017, and there was an incident of closing the temple with the intention of seizing the temple. But the devotees were alert and stayed to guard the temple and refused to go anywhere. And there were parties trying to find ways to pressure the temple residents to not be able to endure, such as cutting off food to the point of threatening to cut off the electricity. It was so much that the temple residents had to hang a sign on the mast of the dining hall that said, "We need food," and it was news all over the world. It caught the eye of the United Nations, who were traveling to Thailand for a meeting, so they asked to stop by the temple and negotiated until they agreed to reopen the temple on the 10th of March 2017, but removed the position of abbot from Luang Por Dhammajayo since that day. And Mangkorn 01 told the story through the real expert, came to let Kiang Tawan tell the story of the truth of famous temples since July 2018, reflecting that the textual orders from the real 01, called the Wat Dao Song San, had been cut off since April 22, 2018. What the people of the outer temples did not know was the truth that 01 had been cut off by his own secretary, who had also eliminated the worm-chasing group that tried to submit documents following the correct procedures to the abbot to request that at least 6 monks in the temple be punished because it was found that all 5 of them had colluded to follow the orders of the female layperson who Mangkorn 01 called Ms. To eliminate the way for the real O1 to give orders, causing O1 to lose the power to give orders and not allowing O1 to come out and give orders or have the power to give orders anymore, so that they would not be in trouble. This kind of order was in line with the plan or the heart of O6, who had been doing many things that had been oppressing O1 all along, which was clearly seen since 2009, as told in the story, The Truth of the Famous Temple, from Mangkorn Sonkai, which is O1. For the real experts to compile and have Kyongtawan sent to inform all temple residents in and outside the temple in August 2018. When the O6th party or Phra Maha Doctor in the writing from Mangkorn Sonkai already wanted to oppress O1, it coincided with the order from Ms. who could order 5 more temple executive monks to cooperate with her in eliminating O1's authority to command. So there was cooperation and a plan to destroy the sacredness of the Maha Dhammakaya Cetiya, which is the power of O1's Dhammakaya meditation, first. The truth that the temple residents did not know was that O1 had issued an order on September 4, 2017, for those who like to zigzag, if they do not stop zigzag, to leave the temple, and resent on September 6, 2017 after a member of the district reported O6's wrongdoings, written as ordered by O1, sent to O1, the size of a ream of A4 paper, around 500 sheets. At the end of August 2017, it was clear. Kyongtawan had already recounted in a clip a week before the end of 2024 that O1 had a Jarnru make a copy of a set and deliver it to O2 for acknowledgement and action, causing O2 to rush to see O1 with a serious face, talk with O1 for several hours before returning with a bright face. And after that, the order for those who like to zig-ziggle to leave the temple reached the worm-chasing group, causing the leader of the worm-chasing group to gather and make an appointment through O2's secretary that they would bring the host to visit and ask O6 about the message of O1's advice. Signed as Daosongsin 2 days ago, whether it was O6 or not, by coming to ask after the Kathan ceremony, which is on October 22, 2017. It appears that O6 flew from the temple to America immediately after the Kathan ceremony that evening, without waiting to face the host that the leader of the worm-chasing group would take him to ask for the truth. After that, there was an order for O1's secretary to resign from all work and go meditate in Chiang Mai only, with no date set for her to return. This caused the secretary to resign from her work as O1's secretary in November 2017. The story seemed to end well, and O1 issued an order for all levels of subordinates to plant the Benjasap trees to make merit in welcoming the ascetic monks on the path of the conqueror of Mara in the new year of 2018. However, the worm-chasing group encountered an important secret meeting at the end of November 2017, where Ms. sat at the head of the table. After picking up O1's secretary, who was suspended from work to meditate only, she returned to a secret meeting with 5 monks, chaired by Ms. and her decree was as follows. Do whatever it takes to prevent O1, who was called by another name, from coming out to give any orders again, or else we will all suffer. The monks in the meeting included O1's secretary and close friend who took care of the temple's finances, Phra Dhammakaya. There was also Phra Anu, O2's secretary. Phra Thap Tawi, who was a monk in charge of discipline, and Phra Lan Phone, who took care of security. However, during that time, O1 ordered the people in the district to accumulate merit to the fullest extent during that time, and O1 gradually moved out all the monks who used to be on O6's team in various parts of the temple. This caused the group to collect information first and not do anything. However, the bad news was that when it came to 2018 at the end of March, the group found out that O6 had flown back, claiming to be coming back to join O1's birthday party, and they knew that their group had been moved by O1 from the various positions that he had placed in the temple. Therefore, some plans were made and O6 was still participating in the merit-making ceremony on O1's birthday on April 22, 2018. After that, there was no more work order via text message from O1, or so-called star messenger, sent until the people outside received the story sent via line, The Truth of the Famous Temple, from Mangkorn Sonkai, sent during August 2018, telling them how O1 had been oppressed by O6 all along, and recently, all the way to work orders had been blocked, causing O1 to be unable to send out work orders because O1's big secretary, who was ordered to step down and meditate alone, disobeyed the order and took back his work, not caring what O1 would say. And the people who shared information from Mangkorn Sonkai in August 2018 were also threatened by the temple through the coordinator, forbidding them from reading or sharing information from Mangkorn Sonkai, and were punished by being banned from the temple, just like the people who sent it during that time. Kyong Tawan and her merit-making partner, who were banned from entering the temple since August 26, 2018. And the truth that everyone doesn't know is that before the ban on the two people from entering the temple because of sending the truth about the famous temple from Mangkorn Sonkai, because Kyong Tawan received an order from O1 through a person who knows the truth to share some parts via Facebook on Sunday morning, August 26, 2018, causing a large meeting of more than 200 people, including monks and laywomen, led by a big secretary and secretary of O2, citing the reason of causing the group to split up. And in the meeting, it was proposed to ban 5 people from entering the temple because at that time, the worm-chasing group led by Mr. I had Mr. Wat Phra as an ally and lawyer Ni as an advisor. They were driving the host to jointly cleanse the temple by driving the worm-chasing group, focusing on O6 or 4, Dr. In the writing from Mangkorn Sonkai, in that meeting, they intended to issue a ban on 5 people, the 3 worm-chasing masters and the 2 people who jointly sent the story from Mangkorn Sonkai, totaling 5 people, but there was an elderly laywoman. They saw that prohibiting the host from entering the temple would cause problems and damage to the temple, so they went to meet O1 to report to him. Bunbandan actually met O1, and when O1 was informed of the matter, he ordered that the order prohibiting people from entering the temple be strictly prohibited, as it would be a great sin. When the female devotee returned to the meeting of the anti-worm exorcism group, there was no conclusion. Instead, The order prohibiting people from entering the temple was secretly circulated as an internal record. However, someone secretly sent a line message to a group of people outside the temple, including the host and temple residents, and also forwarded it to a news agency. Importantly, in that record, there were only 2 names of the people who sent the story from the hidden dragon. A well-wisher searched for the profiles on Facebook and attached the pictures of the 2 people who were banned from entering the temple to line with a short headline that said, "It caused division in the group." This made the leader of the worm exorcism group, Mr. I, very angry because it was like accusing the worms in the temple of being more afraid of the story from the hidden dragon than the worm exorcism group, who would file a complaint against the 6 monks. This caused the worm exorcism group to write a letter requesting a complaint against the monks who had been harmed by the monks' behavior, with witnesses and evidence. Focusing on the 5 monks who were in the meeting in November 2017 with Ms. E. In addition to 06, the Lai Worm Group submitted a letter requesting an indictment of the 6 monks to Abbot Mu and sent a copy to the chairman of the Temple Committee, 02, in September 2018. However, the temple did not pay attention to the deadline specified in the indictment letter by the Lai Worm Group, did not give any answers, and did not allow a meeting. However, it appeared in the news on Manager Online on September 23, 2018, with both pictures of the monks and their full names, as well as details of the positions in the temple of the 6 monks whose names were requested for indictment, even though in the indictment letter, the Lai Worm Group only listed the monks' names, no positions, and no pictures. Therefore, it is certain that the news agency got this news from monks in the temple, and they must have been high-ranking monks. So they dared to give full information about the monks, their positions, and their personal pictures like this. In fact, if the temple dared to report the news like this, it would be correct for the abbot to perform the duty of resolving the dispute as requested in the letter of the host. However, there was no response or explanation. The group tried to find a way to submit the request through the abbot. The abbot told the Lai Worm Group to drive Abbot Mu to perform this duty first. If the abbot did not do it, they would tell him later. So the group went back to submit the request to Abbot Mu again in October 2018, but were obstructed by the guards who prevented them from sending the documents to the abbot. While the Lai Worm Group did not know what to do next, Kiang Tawan also heard from Fra Fuyan that he saw with his own eyes that Mr. I was carried away by someone in uniform behind a building in the temple by someone in power behind 06 to adjust his attitude in a way that people in uniform like to do. Because after that, the Lai Worm Group did not see Mr. I come to the meeting again. And later there was news that Mr. I asked to ordain for a month and would not return until after the new year. Therefore, there was no information for the Lai Worm Group to do or not do anything. And the matter of submitting the dispute disappeared without a trace. But there was a spy in the line group to chase the worms and then chased and deleted everyone from the group before closing the group. Is this clear to everyone that the temple has been dominated by the worm group and the worms led by 06 and the big secretary who followed the orders of Ms. E? Have colluded to seize the temple's administration from 01 since October 2018 and also disbanded the Worm Chaser group by November 2018? Most importantly, there is a document announced in the temple, informing the new temple executive committee to start working in the new position from December 26, 2018 onwards, with a term of 1 year. In it, it is clearly announced that there will be O2 as the chairman and O6 as the vice chairman. This makes it clear that O6 is the Worm King who the Worm Chaser group intended to drive out of the temple according to the real orders of O1 on September 4th and 6, 2017. And O6 just escaped the confrontation to America in October 2017, but returned at the end of March 2018 and has been there ever since. Until the time when Mr. I submitted a letter requesting the temple to conduct an ordination for 6 monks, including O6. In the end, Mr. I disappeared to become a monk and the worm-chasing group was secretly erased. In addition, the temple appointed a new temple management committee with O6 as the vice chairman. That completely seized the administrative power from the real O1. The real O1 was still in the temple but could not give any orders. Since that time, there has been a message inviting the hosts of the faithful to make merit by placing the gold leaf of Sirarat to cover the top of the dome of the great Dhammakaya Cetiya. It should be done on the last day of the year and into the new year of 2562. The text of the sermon is similar to the phrase of O1, but the name is someone, not Star Sender, which means O1 real. Since then, there have been many new merit makings. They have lined up to pass on the gold leaf to cover the top of the dome of the great Dhammakaya Cetiya. On New Year's Day 2562, and the process of applying gold leaf was completed in January 2562. And it was seen that some monks were seen walking with spray cans and spraying gold leaf on all the Buddha images at the base of the great Dhammakaya Cetiya during January 2562. Everything was completed by the end of January 2562, which was completed at the same time as the end of the Dhammayatra Path of the Conqueror of Mara project in 2562. Then Kyongtawan received a message from the Omniscient One, informing that O1 had decided to leave the Dhammakaya temple since February 2, 2562 because O1 foresaw through Dhammakaya knowledge that O6 would coordinate with the DS to search the temple and arrest O1 again in mid-February 2562. If he was not found, he would expel all monks, novices, laywomen, and laywomen from the temple and permanently close the temple until the various cases were resolved. Doing so would cause the temple dwellers who relied on O1's merit to make merit at the temple to be left stranded. No longer having a place to stay, no place to go, no food to eat. More than 3,000 monks people, with the kindness of O1, sacrificed himself and left the temple alone so that O6 would not have to chase away the group of more than 3,000 people from the temple. And O6 learned about this and had some evidence that made O6 believe that O1 had really left the temple. So O6 seized all power from O1 since then. And news was released from the temple to the host devotees from time to time that the temple had ordered to prohibit the use of O1's picture, to prohibit calling Dhammajayo's name. The temple people had to remove all pictures of Luang Por Dhammajayo from sight, and everyone was forbidden from mentioning Luang Por Dhammajayo's name anymore. When anyone wanted to talk about O1, they had to call him someone instead. When the host wondered why Luang Por Dhammajayo's name was not mentioned, why sending or posting pictures of Luang Por Dhammajayo was forbidden, the answer was because the higher-ups did not like it. Asked who was this higher-ups? I learned from the merit-making leader who had been guarding the temple during the temple siege after O1 did not turn himself in due to serious illness. At the end of May 2016, there was a merit-making leader who had been guarding the temple and had been sitting and practicing Dhamma in Glassroom 1 for several days in a row. He was calm and composed. In my heart, I wondered who could possibly come and cause trouble for Luang Pu Dhammajayo at this time. Then I dozed off, and then a clear image appeared in my mind. It was an image of the area at entrance 5 of the International Dhammakaya Assembly. There were people kneeling on both sides of the walkway in front of the assembly entrance. I saw feet walking towards them, wearing military boots. When I looked up, I saw that it was actually Saya Kumari in a ranger uniform walking towards the front of the assembly. In the mind of the person who saw this vision, I thought, "Oh, you've agreed to come to the temple already? Didn't you say you wouldn't come?" But when I opened my eyes, I realized whether this was a dream or really seeing it, because my mind wasn't thinking about anyone at all. I just want to know who is the one who caused the O1 crime and the temple siege like this. Seeing it in a dream, like this, is this a believable answer, everyone? This incident coincides with the fact that a novice monk from Khao Q posted on Facebook during the Buddhist Lent of 2023 that he had received a scholarship from Kumari for the 6th year. If 2023 is the 6th year, it means that the first year he received it was 2018. And there was only one Thai princess whose name ended with Kumari. And during the time that Kumari went to give the scholarship to the novice monk from Khao Q, everyone knew that Khao Q belonged to O6. The fact that Kumari went to Khao Q of O6 clearly showed that O6 had approached and cooperated with Kumari since before that. If the vision or dream of the merit-making leader who guarded the temple in the glass room 1 year the temple was closed, which was May 2016, is true, it shows that the criminal case to oppress O1 to have to serve a summons to the point of an arrest warrant, to the point of pressuring O1 to go out and surrender, even though O1 was receiving medication to dissolve the blood clot in his groin. And the devotees saw O6 walking with O1's big secretary that day to invite O1 to go out and surrender. And because O1 fainted, when he woke up, he was going to surrender. But there were no government officials waiting to receive him, and it turned into a preparation to raid the temple and arrest O1 at the end of May 2016. And the image in the mind of the merit-making leader who was guarding the temple at that time appeared as a Kumari. Therefore, it is believed that the persecution of O1 with the criminal case at that time was a collaboration between O6 and the higher-ranking Kumari. And when the persecution was made so that O1 could not come out to bring any merit since May 2016 and in March 2017 after Section 44 surrounded the temple and closed it for 23 days. When the temple was reopened on March 10, 2017, there was an announcement in the news that O1 was charged with evading the arrest warrant. Therefore, he had to be removed from being the abbot until April 22, 2018, when the big secretary collaborated with O6 to cut off the path of giving orders with a message from the real O1. This satisfied the higher-ups. He went to make merit with the novices at O6's Khao Q, and O6 seized the power to administer the temple according to the announcement dated December 26, 2018. There was an announcement inviting the temple's hosts to make merit again with the gold plates of Sirarat at the end of 2018 and to make merit on New Year's Day. They signed the sermon inviting them to make merit with someone who was clearly seen that after crossing over to 2019, there was finally an answer that someone was really above, and that higher-ups were the Kumari. Is this clear to everyone? That the above Kumari collaborated with O6 to oppress O1 from being the abbot and destroy the sacredness of the great Dhammakaya Cetiya with the merit of the gold plates of Sirarat that those who know the details informed. This is consistent with what the real expert learned from O1, that there was an act of evil called black magic, combined with the knowledge of sorcery and the merit of the golden plate Sirarat, causing O1 to decide to leave the temple because in addition to not being able to practice Dhammakaya through the Lord Buddha and the million Buddhas on the pagoda, He also wanted to protect his children, the more than 3,000 people in the inner district, to continue to stay at the temple. Regarding these matters, Kyongtawan learned from the real expert that O1 the real expert told his children, both inside and outside the inner district, and told them repeatedly many times over the past year to point out the problem for everyone to know that the temple and the temple administration were not under O1's control since April 22, 2018. When O1 was obstructed by a message from his big secretary, and O1 decided to leave the temple so that all 3,000 children could continue to stay at the temple, O1 expected to tell his children, both inside and outside the inner district, through the real expert who asked Kyongtawan to help inform him as much as he could, since August 2018. And even though Kyongtawan was ordered not to enter the temple but still giving this truth to O1's children as much as possible, even though they are the big secretaries and O6 will diligently cut, delete messages that have been posted on Kyongtawan's Facebook time and time again throughout 2021 and will follow up to delete in the new year 2023. Each matter that has been deleted from Facebook is all important. It is a very true truth that O1 wants his children to know in order to check and stop before leading everyone to sin with them who have controlled the temple since O6 was appointed as the temple's executive committee in late 2018-2019. But it seems that no one is interested in this truth. And it can be seen that the temple has launched new projects that claim to be for the worship of O1 Dharma year after year. There are also messages that imitate the phrases or speech patterns that the real O1 likes to use as advice, that seem to come from O1's words that they make it seem like O1 is in the temple and still gives orders without signing their names to stimulate the amount of donations from the hosts to make more merit. In particular, the merit of the past year, 2024, is the Fa Pa merit to contribute to the Kathan ceremony at 30,000 temples. There was a sermon claiming that he was already 80 years old and wanted a lot of merit. Just such a short phrase, even though no one's name was signed at the end, caused the hosts and devotees who led the merit making to believe that it was O1 who wanted a lot of merit because he was 80 years old. So, he devoted all his heart and strength to trying to make it successful. No one was willing to accept the information from the hidden dragon from the real O1 that O1 had not been in the temple since February 2, 2019, and because O1 had been unable to give orders since April 22, 2018. What is a great misfortune for everyone who believed the temple is the delusion that came from the temple deceiving the temple residents, both inside and outside the temple, to believe that O1 was in the temple and still gave orders. He also sent out messages musing that he was 80 years old and wanted a lot of merit, making his children believe it even more. And the temple people did not dare to ask for the truth clearly because they thought among themselves that since O1's case was not closed yet, O1 was still in the status of evading the arrest warrant, they could not clearly tell or give orders to sign in order to avoid attracting the DS to come and search the temple and arrest O1 again. So no one dared to ask for any clear questions, and they all believed that the monk who came to make an announcement inviting people to make merit was trustworthy because he had been trustworthy since the beginning, even during O1's era. So there was no reason not to believe him. But no one dared to think that even the monk could be deceived into believing that O1 was working in the temple like before. When combined with the current technology, it is possible to make a program that can disguise anyone's face and voice. After installing the program, if someone else enters the program, they will be able to overlap as the twin of the owner of the program's face and voice, like the program Different Phi on WorkPoint channel. It makes it believable that if any monk in the temple could make anyone believe that the person who gave the orders was the real O1, it would be them who did it this way. This created a twin of Luang Por O1 in the temple to talk through a video screen. Therefore, I met the face as if talking through the screen and heard the voice and conversation that was alive as if I was talking to the real person at that time without a doubt. And if someone claims that O1 is accused of evading the arrest warrant and cannot come out to meet anyone to confirm his real identity, everyone must accept that it is really like that. And the monks in the temple certainly do not watch any game shows on TV or YouTube, so there is no way to know that there is currently an AI program that can do that. Therefore, no one is suspicious or will be suspicious. They are afraid of sin, even though they want to be suspicious because there are many orders or thoughts that do not seem to come from the real O1. Even the teacher himself, when he does not have knowledge about AI that can make identical twins to be suspicious. He wants to be suspicious when he receives an order or approval that is unusual from being the real O1. But because he did not know that there is a program that can make identical twins to that extent, when he met, saw and heard with his own eyes and ears that the orders came from O1 who saw his face and talked and heard his voice in real life like that through the screen, there is no reason not to believe it. The process of deceiving both the monks and the relatives and devotees of the temple has continued until 2567 when O1 will be 80 years old. He is confident that his lawsuit will end. He will be free to meet everyone in 2024 around his birthday. And the truth is that the temple has been informed that they can close the case for O1 because the prosecutor will not press charges anymore. The case must be filed within 180 days from October 2023, which is no later than April 2024. The problem is that O2, who is solely responsible for O1's case, has changed his mind and will not close the case for O1. Even though O2 promised O1 from the beginning, the host went to pay respect to O2 and ask O1 if he will be released near his birthday. The answer is that he probably won't be released. The reason is that if O2 helps O1 close the case and is free to come out, O1 will kick O2 out of the temple and not let him stay at the temple anymore because O2 is playing the stock market. This is O2's own confirmation that he has decided that he will not have the right or freedom to escape the case and come out to meet his children and grandchildren around the world again in his life. It is a selfish display of O2 who is afraid of the punishment of stock trading. O1 will be taken away from the temple if he helps O1 escape the case. Then O2 can sit as the leader instead of O1 in the Dhammakaya temple forever. Like a person who has no sense of being a good person at all. It clearly shows that O2 has become a pawn of O6 who uses O2 as a puppet to lead the group of O1's children to do any activity for O6 in every project. When O6 cooperates with the higher-ups because O1 is not there, if O1 is there, O6 and the higher-ups will not be able to do anything to the temple and what the temple has. Therefore, it is the reason why it is believed that it is a plan of O6 for the higher-ups to eliminate O1 and do everything possible to make O2 not help O1 escape the case in this one chance in life during the 180 days that have passed. But they pretended relying on the Dharma worship O1 during the 80th anniversary, raising huge funds for this and that project, both throughout Thailand and abroad. When it was seen that it was successful and had beautiful results, then planned for the Dharma worship O1 when it was 81 years old, as everyone has seen the plan since the announcement now. 4 months before the 81st anniversary of O1, and still finding a reason to raise a huge fund to match the event that will be done in advance. Claiming to organize a Thai offering to 40,000 temples to worship the Dharma O1 when it was 81 years old, and for that purpose, will use the Dharma ground area around the great Dhammakaya Cetiya, so that there will be a reason to raise funds to make all 300,000 Dhammakaya on the slope shine like gold. Claiming to restore 300,000 Dhammakaya in preparation for the celebration of O1's 81st anniversary, claiming that the Dhammakaya on the Cetiya was built 25 years ago. It is time to restore it to shine, citing O1's words that O1 once said that during the time when Luang Pu was still alive, Dhammakaya must be golden. Words like these, when combined, become a project to make merit to restore Dhammakaya to be golden again, shining brightly to celebrate O1's 81st birthday. There would be no doubt if they had closed the case for O1 to come out when he turned 80 on April 22, 2024. But not closing the case because they were afraid that O1 would come out and chase O2 out of the temple. Is this right or proper? Is it a merit or a sin? And then continue to worship the Dhamma O1, both after O1's birthday when O2 decided to betray O1 by not closing the case, which is equal to not letting O1 be free to come out, which is equal to O2 having sinned against O1. Also did the 30,000 temple project on his 80th birthday that did not let him be free from the case to come out and meet anyone. And did the project to contribute to the Kathan robes offering at 30,000 temples during the Buddhist Lent and the Kathan robes offering ceremony. Also came to cheer and invite to restore the Dhammakaya on the pagoda to make it shine gold to celebrate O1's 81st birthday on April 22, 2025 with the offering of Thai offerings at 40,000 temples. Without letting O1 be free again for the rest of his life, meaning not being able to meet anyone again for the rest of his life. This is the way back to O1 that O2 did and had the temples do various projects under the pretext of worshipping the Dhamma O1 year after year, even though he knew deep down that you yourself are the one who limited O1's freedom by not closing the case for O1 who was not guilty in any way. In this way, did O2 make merit or sin against O1? Everyone, think about it. And is everyone still happy to join in making merit on the great sin that O2 committed against O1 like this? Is it possible to join O2 in committing sin against O1? That is, jointly causing O1 to have no freedom in his own life. Even though O1 was not guilty and O1 was an innocent monk and the most powerful suppression leader at that level, whoever makes merit with O1 will gain merit that is beyond counting and immeasurable. Just think about whoever commits sin against O1 will also receive the consequences of sin that are beyond counting and immeasurable. Then what will everyone do when everyone is happy that O2 and the monks who administer the temples have jointly imprisoned O1 for a case in which he was not guilty in any way? Whether they knew it or not, how much sin has been committed along with the group that jointly imprisoned O1 like this? We will still be able to see the great merit deep down in our consciousness. Good people must be ashamed of committing sins. Can they really ignore the guilt of O2 who harmed the innocent O1? Can they really worship the monks like O2 who decided to let the innocent O1 be charged with a criminal case even though he did nothing wrong, and not be free for the rest of his life? And do you know that what O2 did to O1 this time will result in O2 being imprisoned by the evil spirit at the end of his life, forever and ever, never to be free again in the cycle of rebirth? And whoever follows the merit-making project that the temple invites after not closing the case for O1 all along and forever will have sinned along with O2 by default. They will be taken to be imprisoned in the three realms forever, never to be reborn again until the end of the Dharma as a reward. Whether it is true or not, go and decide for yourself. This is not a threat, and it is not a theory from my own thoughts to tell. But it is a detailed version from a real person who has brought a message from the real O1 to tell all of his children at this time. And it is the deepest regret that makes O1 have tears flowing from his right eye all the time since the night of New Year's Day after the rice offering ceremony, which has continued until this morning, January 2nd, 2025. Because in fact, the big merit-making day on the first Sunday of the month does not only count the morning, but also the afternoon. O1 always says that the morning is the time to accumulate merit, In the afternoon is the time to resolve old karma and dedicate merit to the deceased, which is important every Sunday. Not just the first Sunday of the month when there is the rice offering ceremony. Normally, there will be an afternoon ceremony to bring the merit gained in the morning to dedicate to the deceased, and it is a time to cut off any old karma. But this year, 2025, has become the first year that the temple has cut the afternoon ceremony on the first Sunday of the month, New Year's Day. This is the deepest regret of O1, that he has no way to tell this truth to his children. And before Kiantawan knows the truth, he has to go through someone who knows the truth to know what O1 really wants to tell everyone. It's too late, and everyone is preparing to make great merit with the Dhammayatra during the Dhammakaya pilgrimage. The temple that decided to cancel the afternoon merit-making ceremony on the first day of the new year may have thought that it was to prepare for welcoming the wandering monks, but in reality, they had cut off half of the great merit of the first Sunday of the month, which no one could ever take back. The merit that those who came to make offerings to the monks in the morning should have received continuously in the afternoon was cut off. Compared to the merit that was made to prepare for welcoming the Dhammayatra the next day, but did not receive that great merit on the afternoon of the first day of the month, it is not comparable at all. It clearly shows that the person who cut off the afternoon merit-making ceremony on the first day of the month to make offerings to the monks did not know anything about merit or sin. However, he was in a position with the power to change things that had been done well since the time O1 initiated it. This resulted in cutting off everyone's great merit in this way, which resulted in increasing sin without realizing it. Therefore, it can be analyzed that only ignorant people could do this to O1's group. But which ignorant person was in a position with the power to change any ceremony of O1? He did it according to his own thoughts, who did not know the details and could not see any merit. But what he thought of doing this way resulted in the control of the lives of all O1's children and groups, putting them in the hands of this ignorant person. And everyone was being led by this ignorant person, leading him to sin along with him forever, under the leadership of O2, who committed a great sin against O1 with the intention of not closing the case so that O1 could be free to meet everyone. Like that, everyone who accepted O2 to be the leader today has also become a partaker of sin with O2. Not to mention those who sinned along with every project that came from the idea of O6. A sinful and evil-hearted person whose soul was pitch black, to the point that Dhammakaya could not refine it to be white even a little bit. Almost all of them. What will be the result from now? Because in this world, humans can survive with merit and sin that come to fruition. If there is a lot of merit, there will be happiness and prosperity and no suffering. But if there is a lot of sin that comes to fruition, the world will encounter the results of sin that will cause various disasters, whether from water, wind, fire or germs. The group of O1's children has accumulated merit with O1 for many years since before 2016. But this year, the children have abandoned the merit and taken the sin. What will they receive?